Hey, 6th grade, how's it going? Hopefully you're doing well. Today what we're going to be doing is trying to find the percent of a number. Our agenda for today is we're going to learn 4 different strategies to find the percent of a number. We're going to choose a strategy. We're going to make groups to try to solve problems to find the percent of a number. And then we're going to do a little checkup survey. So let's get started. Today's class, we're not going to need our book. What you're going to need is just a piece of paper, and we're also going to be doing some of these problems as a group. If you need to go ahead and look at the previous video from last week, go ahead and click on the link. It will also be in the video notes on the bottom. The first strategy that we're going to learn is comparing the base 10. So for example, you could switch the number to 100 to understand how to compare and get a percent. For example, we have the directions that say, express one quantity as a percentage of another. The problem says, there are 20 children in year 6. 7 of them walk to school. What percentage of children walk to school? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is understand that my number 20 can be changed to 100, okay? And I'm also going to get rid of that information inside of the directions. This year 6 is not that important. If I understand that 20 can be converted to 100, all I do is multiply 20 by 5 to get 100. What I do on the bottom, I also need to do on the top. So 7 times 5 equals 35. And 35 over 100 equals 35%. Let's look at a second strategy, converting the percent to a decimal and then multiplying. I know that if we take a problem like 35% of 80, 35% is the same thing as 35 over 100, or 0.35. In other words, 35 hundredths. If I take 35 over 100 times 80, it's the same thing as taking 0.35 times 80. In other words, I switch the percentage to a decimal and then multiplied. 0.35 times 80 equals 28. Let's try another example. If I take 40% of 60, it's the same thing as 40% times 60, or 60 times 0.4. 40% is the same thing as 0.4, or 4/10. You can notice that we move the decimal point over a couple of spots, and that's because we changed the number from a percent to a decimal. Let's check that on the calculator to see if that's correct. If we take 40%, which is 40, divided by 100, it equals 0.4. And then we multiply that by 60, and we get 24. That's our final answer. 24 is the same thing as 24.0. For example, I put 24.0 equals 24.0 equals 24. It's the same exact thing, okay? All right, let's go to our next problem. Our next problem has us trying to find the percent, but this time we're going to cross multiply and divide. I think this strategy is probably the most common for students and probably the easiest to understand. For example, if we have 75% of 36, how can we figure out the percentage? Well, 75% is not as close to 100 as we'd like it, but it is a pretty big number. It's going to be a big majority of 36, a little bit more than half, right? So our number is going to be bigger than 18, but not as big as 36. Let's try to figure it out. 75 is the percentage, and 36 is the quantity. So what we can do is convert 75% to 75 over 100, and then multiply that by 36. In other words, 36 times 75 equals 2,700. If we divide that by 100, we're basically just simplifying the number. Get rid of the zeros on the top, in our numerator, and in the bottom. in our denominator. 27 divided by 1 is 27. What we did today was we split our class into 4 different groups, and we assigned different problems. Number 1, for example, is in the superheroes group. These groups will be doing the following problems, and we'll be presenting them on Thursday. Students in the first group were assigned different problems, and we will be explaining them in the groups on Thursday. Take a look at your problem so that you know which one you're going to explain on Thursday. That's all for today. If you would like to do the checkup quiz, we can do the checkup quiz. Otherwise, we will do this on Thursday. Thank you very much, boys and girls. We will see you next time.